I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, should I try for a second date? In other words, say you've gone out on a first date, and for whatever reason, you were either too scared or you didn't think it was appropriate, and you didn't try to kiss her. And so even though there may have been many signs that you thought that she was interested in you, at the end of the day, you still walked away from the date, and you didn't go for the kiss because you were scared or you didn't have the balls or whatever reason. So now you're sitting there several days later, scratching your head going, we didn't kiss, I'm not really sure if she's that into me. Do I want to call her and spend another evening taking her out, spending my valuable money on her if I'm not sure that she's into me? How do you handle those situations? So I got an email here from a guy, went out on a date, and it sounds like from everything he shared with me that everything went well and he just didn't go for the kiss. And so now he's sitting there wondering where he stands or if she's worth it to go out on a second date. And so he says, "Hi Corey, I think I screwed up and I would greatly appreciate any input on this situation on whether or not I should try for a second date with this girl or just forget all about her." He says, "I met her about 3 weeks ago through a mutual friend, and she's just my personality type and looks that I like. I've been dating another woman I was into, and so I was very laid back and indifferent when I met this one." And when I talk about being indifferent, it's not you're being a cold dick to her. It's just that you're not gushing about how much you like her and how much you're into her and how much you think you'd be a great relationship material for each other and that nonsense. Indifferent means you're simply objective and you're just there having a good time. You're focused on living in the moment and just seeing what happens. Because that's how women approach a first date. They go and they show up, they just want to see what happens. But most guys approach and they're thinking about what their kids are going to look like, how long they're going to have to date until they get married, and all this kind of shit that's totally inappropriate, because at that early stage in the courtship, you don't even know what the girl is like. You don't know anything about her. You don't know what her weird idiosyncrasies are. You don't know what her habits or things that she does that might just annoy the shit out of you yet. Because, most people, it takes 90 days of dating somebody before they really start to let the real them out. In other words, human beings can basically hide who they really are for about the first 90 days of a relationship. He said, "We played phone tag for a few weeks until she finally called me on a Friday and asked me out for Saturday. I told her that I was out and we could get together on Sunday, and so we scheduled a zoo date." He says, "I love zoo dates. She called today and rescheduled the venue to this play at a performing arts center." That's not a good sign, a chick calling and completely changing the date. But I guess she called and asked you, then it was really her idea for the date. She called today and rescheduled. She says, "So I mentioned if I was not up for that she would still go on the zoo date." He says, "I gave in and said that was fine." He said, "It's 100 degrees here anyway, so the zoo might have been miserable." Yeah, you guys are going to sweating your balls off. And think about it, if you're fooling around later and you've been standing in the sun all day long, just think about it. You guys, neither one of the two, you're going to smell very good. You got to think about these things in advance when you go out on dates and you're planning dates. So who knows, maybe she was thinking about that. So that's, in that particular situation, it's okay that she decided to do something else. So he said, "I picked her up and we went to the play. Plays are not my thing. And going to a play is like going to a movie. It's like, how are you going to get to know each other if you're standing there, watching some play for several hours? She's an outgoing girl, so I could not tell if her touching my leg and arm were anything, which she did many times during the play. So in other words, she probably touches everybody. But the thing is, if you're on a date and she's touching your arm or she's touching your leg, it means touching is appropriate." He says, "Afterwards," and so when touching is appropriate, it means that you slowly reciprocate and see how she handles it. "Afterwards, I was ready to take her home, and she mentioned me coming into her house to talk for a while. Not about sex, she's not that type." And here you're making all kinds of assumptions that are totally fucking up your chances to get laid. Because society is drilled into your head dates are supposed to go a certain way. And the very fact that she's mentioning coming in to talk, in other words, she's inviting you into her house because she feels very comfortable and she likes how things are going, And she's hoping that, the whole point of it going out on a date is to create an opportunity for sex to happen. That's it. And so she's trying to make it easy for you to get lucky by inviting you into her house. I said I was hungry, so we went ahead and went to dinner instead. We had a very pleasant dinner where I let her do 90% of the talking. She was showing family pictures to me, and so she would throw quite a few questions back at me, which I gave short answers and asked her another one in response. She was laughing most of the time and very solid eye contact. Those are all good signs, dude. She mentioned she wanted to take a walk before I took her home. So we walked around the block a few times and chatted before I took her home. I just said that I had a nice time tonight. And another thing, you're on the walk, spending more time together. If she's bumping into you, it's easy to just put your arm around her when she's touching you and she's bumping into you. Just put your arm on her hip as you're walking and see if she reciprocates and see if she puts her arm around you. And if after 4, maybe say 5, 10 seconds of you walking, you got your arm around her and she's not reciprocating, then just take your arm, take it away. You got to pay attention to those things. So she said, when he said that I had a nice time tonight, she replied that she had a nice time as well. And then she said, maybe I'll see you at our mutual friend's house sometime. I did not feel a kiss was appropriate because there had been very little physical interaction the whole time. And see, this is the kicker. You spent all this time, several hours with this girl, and you've gone out to dinner, you spent money on her, and you're thinking, oh, it'd be inappropriate to go for the kiss. Like, that's insane. You don't want to waste your time going out on a date, because if you go to kiss the girl and she turns her head, it means one of two things. Either A, she has no interest in you romantically, or B, it means she's a control freak. And either way, if a woman turns a cheek, you don't want to fucking go out with her again. But since you didn't go for the kiss, you don't know, and now you're debating whether or not to spend another $50 or $100 going out with her on another nice date when you don't even know if she likes you. But if you had gone for the kiss on the date and she would have turned her head, then you would know. You wouldn't be sitting here going, there's no way I'm going to call her again. But if she had kissed you back passionately, she would have invited you inside. And she had already invited you into her house. And so those are all things that you're just, they're completely going over your head because you're not living in the moment and you're worried about offending her, or you're worried about going for a kiss when she's not ready. The whole point of being there is because you like each other and you're into each other. He says, but I cannot tell if she was friendly or flirty. She mainly did this at the beginning of the date and stopped about halfway through. So she was touching you in the beginning, and in other words, it sounded like she wanted to get laid. And when you were standoffish or you didn't, it just kind of went over your head. Either she thought you don't get it, or you're hesitant, or maybe you said some things during the date that turned her off, or communicated that you were unsure of yourself and you probably weren't going to be making a move. But it seems like she gave you several opportunities to make a move and you didn't take advantage of it. And the danger when you go out with women like this and you don't make the move is she can perceive you as being weak and insecure, and whereas you had a chance with her, she'll judge you as being unworthy because you didn't make a move. He says, I would take her out again and do it the right way. Is there any chance that I screw this up? And I say, the only thing you fucked up is you didn't go for the kiss. And it sounds like, when she invited you in, I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, hey, you got a bottle of wine at your house? And she says, no. I was like, why don't we stop by and grab a bottle of wine? We can have... She's like, oh, that's a great idea. And we'll get some snacks because I'm kind of hungry. Or let's get some food. We'll make some dinner together. Then you end up fooling around in the kitchen together. You just always got to assume, like James Bond does, like I always do. I always assume it's going to end up in the bedroom, and it's just a matter of time. And it's just a matter of playing your cards right and letting her come to you and making your move at the appropriate time. And when she reciprocates, or when a woman invites you inside her home, as long as you don't rush things, it's going to end up in the bedroom. That's really the whole reason that she invited you inside in the first place. But if you try to rush things and you make her feel uncomfortable, she'll push you away. And so I talk about a lot about that in my book and some of my other articles that I've written. He said, she's leaving to go to a wedding in a few days and will be out of town for 5 days. What do you think I should do? And I'd say at this point, from what you shared, it sounds like it definitely warrants you at least trying to set up a second date. And so call her, and even though you know she's going to be out of town for several, just say, hey, I know you're going out of town, but I wanted to set a time where we can get together when you know you're going to be free when you get back. So what days are you definitely going to have open so we can get together again? Wait for her to respond. And if she wants to see you again, she'll tell you what day she's available. And then you say, great. Say it's Wednesday and Thursday. So great. How about Wednesday night? I'll pick you up at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, whatever it happens to be. And say dress casual or dress however is appropriate for whatever you have planned or where you want to take her for your second date. And then your second date, make sure you fucking go for the move. I mean, it sounds like, she invited you in. You totally blew an opportunity to get laid. And since you did not capitalize on that opportunity, now you're sitting around scratching your head going, do I have a chance with this girl? And instead, you could have been writing me about, dude, I fucked this girl. The first date was awesome. Everything was textbook. And all because you didn't go for the kiss. Always go for the kiss at the end of the date. If you don't have a copy of my Kindle ebook yet, you can go to my website. And on the right-hand side, the box underneath the email sign-up box, there is a link to my Amazon Kindle homepage. Make sure you download Amazon's free Kindle e-reader app. And then once you download the app on all of your electronic devices, then when you download my book, whatever page you last left off on when you were reading, say you go to work in the morning and you're reading on my book on your iPad, and then when you get to the office, you got an extra 20 minutes, maybe you got there early and you want to read some more. All you got to do is log into the Kindle app and it'll be on whatever page you left off on your iPad at home. That's what's so cool about it. It takes 99 seconds to download it. If you've got a question you want to ask me or there's a topic you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, go to my website and click the Contact Me tab on the left-hand side of your screen and send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max detailing your questions, your situation, your challenges. Just give me several days to get back to you with a response because I get a lot of email from the internet and I also get a lot of it from my paying phone coaching customers. But be patient. I will get back to you. And if you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. And you can do that by clicking the Products tab at the top of your screen, which is at the top of any page of my website. Just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.